Hello, class. Let us now turn our attention to a discussion on mechanical ability tests and physical ability tests. Cognitive ability tests measure mental capabilities such as general intelligence, verbal fluency, numerical ability, and reasoning ability. There are a host of paper and pencil tests that measure cognitive abilities, including the General Aptitude Test Battery, the Scholastic Aptitude Test, the Graduate Management Aptitude Test, and the Bennett Mechanical Comprehension Test. We will discuss the Bennett Mechanical Comprehension Test in this session. Although cognitive ability tests can be developed to measure very specialized areas such as reading comprehension and spatial relations, many experts believe that the validity of cognitive ability tests simply reflects their connection to general intelligence. Measures of general intelligence have been shown to be good predictors of performance across a wide variety of jobs. Let us continue our discussion on the other cognitive ability tests. Mechanical ability tests may be more relevant at times than a mental ability test. There are some direct implications in hiring a person to operate a piece of machinery they are very unfamiliar with. The mechanical test may measure all the items listed on this slide. You will agree that all these skills may be very important. We must not forget that the mechanical ability test may even include a test of one's writing skills. These tests may not be as expensive as the mental ability test. Additionally, the mechanical test may not require an expert to administer the test. These tests may be a part of the interview or may be performed outside the formal interview. The mechanical aptitude test may be a mix of questions that you are likely to meet in your mechanical aptitude test. The mechanical comprehension tests are especially effective in preparation for the Bennett Mechanical Comprehension Test, but will help anyone facing a mechanical aptitude test. Most mechanical aptitude tests include questions about mechanical tools and equipment. Mechanical aptitude tests are often coupled with spatial visualization tests. The Bennett Mechanical Test is a specialized test. It is used to determine the person's aptitude for learning mechanical skills in their applied mechanical job. It measures a complex set of abilities. The individual's mechanical knowledge and spatial intelligence and mechanical reasoning are tested and analyzed. The Bennett Mechanical Comprehension Test is administered in a number of ways. Generally, the questions are read over to the tester either in a group or individually. However, some testers may prefer to use tape recorders to read the questions. You should look at the individual components of this test carefully. Try to think of some instances when this test may be appropriate. You may be tested on these characteristics of the test. In addition to learning about a job candidate's mental capabilities, employers frequently need to assess a person's physical abilities as well. particularly for demanding and potentially dangerous jobs like those held by firefighters and police officers. Physical abilities such as strength and endurance tend to be not only good predictors of performance, but of accidents and injuries. Despite their potential value, physical ability tests tend to work to the disadvantage of women and disabled job applicants, a tendency that has led to several lawsuits. As with other methods for screening potential employees, the use of physical ability tests should be carefully validated on the basis of the essential functions of the job. As we discussed previously, physical ability tests may discriminate against women. Physical ability tests are valuable if one can be sure that they are administered effectively. The employer must be sure why they want to measure the physical ability. They must be sure that these tests do not rule out individuals who may otherwise be appropriate for the job. The employer must be sure that they have not discriminated against an employee you should have hired after making reasonable accommodation for the candidate. Like all other tests, the employer must be sure that these tests are well administered and that they serve the purpose intended. Here is a list of things a physical test may measure. Would you remember this list if it came on a test? While this list is not complete, it gives you a good idea of these skills and abilities which can be measured by a physical test. You will want to remember that physical ability tests typically ask individuals to perform job-related tasks requiring manual labor or physical skill. These tasks measure physical abilities such as strength, muscular flexibility, and stamina. Some examples of physical ability tests include muscular tension tests, tasks requiring pushing, pulling, and lifting, muscular power tests, tasks requiring the individual to overcome some initial resistance, for example, loosening a nut on a bolt, muscular endurance tasks involving repetitions of tools used, for example, removing objects from belts, balance tests, which includes tasks in which stability of body position is difficult to maintain, for example, standing on rings of a ladder, among others. While some physical ability tests may require electronically monitored machines, equipment needs can often be kept simple. For example, stamina can be measured with a treadmill and an electrocardiograph or with a simple set of steps. However, a possible drawback of using simpler methods is less precise measurement. Many factors must be taken into consideration when using physical ability tests. First, employment selection based on physical abilities can be litigious. Legal challenges have arisen over the years because physical ability tests, especially those involving strength and endurance, tend to screen out or a disproportionate number of women and some ethnic minorities. Therefore, it is crucial to have validity, endurance, justifying the job relatedness of physical abilities measures. Second, physical ability tests involving the monitoring of heart rate, blood pressure, or other physiological factors are considered medical exams under the American with Disabilities Act. Administering medical exams to job applicants prior to making a job offer is expressly prohibited. Finally, there is the concern of candidates injuring themselves while performing a physical ability test. A test involving, for example, heavy lifting may result in a back injury or aggravate an existing medical condition. This is the end of this section of the presentation. Thank you for listening.